What up, curls? It's your girl Lauren here with another episode of the SimplyCurly channel. I'm back again. Sorry, I've been on another little hiatus. There's a lot going on in my life, which is what this video is all about. Thank you so much to my new subbies. We're not at 500 subscribers, so thanks for your support. And hey again, thanks for coming back to all my returning curls. Do not forget to subscribe to the SimplyCurly channel so you don't miss out on any of my new content. In this video, we're just gonna get into a little bit more into my personal life. So I'm starting a new series about my fertility journey, as you can tell by the title. But again, don't forget to subscribe. Let's get into it, girls. So curls, I'm just changing in the setting. I feel like it's just a little bit more intimate like this. There's not enough lighting in my living room, or I would have done it on my couch. But I feel like every time I watch videos when somebody's sitting on the floor, I just feel like I'm in their room with them. So I'm taking you into my guest room. I'm just sitting down in my guest room. And we're just gonna chitty chat. I got a little cup of coffee. And so I have my notes because this whole journey is a lot. It's a lot of information. There's a lot that's happened. I've had a lot of feelings about it. But first, I just want to let you guys know, obviously you're not alone. Thanks for coming to this video. If you've never been to the SimplyCurly channel, this is something new. I do not talk about my personal life in this aspect, but you know, I'm just feeling like maybe I can help somebody with their journey, or just make them feel like they're not by themselves. So that's really why I'm starting this new series on my channel. But again, I made so many notes just so in case I lose track, or you know, there's certain things I specifically wanted to let you guys know about my journey that I didn't want to forget. And I also didn't want to be rambly because I feel like this video is already going to be really long. So let's get into it. So like I said, this part of my life is hard for me to share just because it's really personal, and I didn't really want to share it publicly on my channel until I had more of my appointments and more things figured out before I actually talked about it. But before we get into the actual my life story in regards to my fertility, I just felt like I've always through my own experiences, I've done so much YouTube research on fertility just in general, and I've had so many people have helped me with my knowledge just on YouTube. And so I just feel like, man, I'm going through a similar journey. I already have a YouTube channel for hair and skincare. Why not also make my own video of my own experience to give back? Because I feel like I've taken so much knowledge from others. I feel like I should give back more information. But also, moreover than that, there's not a lot of women of color that talk about fertility. That's on period.
The shade of it all.
And we all know that. If you're a black girl out there watching this, you know what I'm talking about, okay? We just don't talk about it, and I just feel you know, we should do that more. And I'm not saying that there aren't women of color out there that don't talk about fertility. There are a few people that I've found and came across on YouTube, and my friend Terry, she made her own blog about it, and so I'll link all that information down in my description box in case you found yourself at this video just like me, black girl like me, and wanting to see a lot more people like you talking about becoming a mom. So I'll definitely link down below again the people that I found that have been really helpful for me, just hoping to spread as much knowledge as I can through this journey, and I will continue to do so as I find more people, because I'm still learning myself. Alright, so we're gonna really get into this story time, sis. So comment below, first of all, if you found this story helpful, if you have any suggestions for me, and if you've had any similar procedures like I have, or just had any similar experiences. Let's make it a community down below, because I know that's what helps me so much through my own journey, is just talking to other people about it, being more open. Just even if you have to vent, sis, vent down below and I'll be there for you, okay? So let's get into the story. Right, so I wanted to just start with like just how our fertility journey started before we knew it was starting. Like what? Like growing up, you never know, like you will have to deal with something like this. Like nobody talks about it. Like there's always such like stigma about, like, you know, when you have sex, like, oh my gosh, you're gonna get pregnant. But I never knew it would ever be hard for me to get pregnant. Like I never ever thought about it. It never crossed my mind. But so me and Michael have pretty much been trying to conceive since he got back from his deployment in Kuwait in like I think that was 2015, right? So when he deployed to Kuwait, I got off of my birth control and weaned myself off of it. So by the time he was home, you know, my body would be good to go and just like everything will be fine, so we could start baby dancing and everything. And just to give you guys a backstory about my birth control journey, I started on birth control when I was 17. And that birth control was Depo-Provera, the shot that you get, I think it was like every 3 months or something, I can't remember. But I had the shot from 17 to 20 years old. And then from 20 years old to 23, I had Implanon in my arm, the implant birth control. So you get it once, and then I think you have to take it out every 3 years. And it so happened that, was it 3 years? Anyways, it so happened that I met the Marc to either replace or take it out. And I was like, it lined up for when Michael was in Kuwait, so I took it out. And I haven't been on birth control ever since. I am now 28, gonna be 29 in May of 2021. So that's where I'm at with my birth control stuff. Like fast forward to the beginning of 2020, and also just keep in mind Michael has had like 1.5, like a year and a half worth of deployments or being away, and let's give it even 2 years. Okay, so 2 years fully of like collectively of being away, where we're obviously not baby dancing. So from 2015 to now 2020, well pretty much the end of 2020, we can just collectively say we've been trying for 3 years. And I had for a while, honestly, like when you're frantic when you just first start, like when a year passes, you're like, what the heck? But I just was like, okay, let's just keep going. But I felt like something was not right for a while, but I thought that I was just being extra y'all about it, you know. So I just waited, but when 2020 hit, I was like, nah, something's not right. Like I can't keep doing this. I can't keep taking these pregnancy tests. I can't keep doing I can't. Like I need to know. I can't do that and not know what I'm up against.
Period! 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 Period!
So I was just like, I'm gonna figure this out. Like I'm gonna be advocate for myself, figure this out. I don't care who thinks I'm crazy about it, because you know, family would be like, oh, you just have to relax, and all, like, ma'am, I'm relaxed. Like I'm very relaxed. Okay, like I'm relaxed. It's just that, you know, to me it's just felt like you have to listen to yourself, like your gut feelings, so like something was not right. So if you have those feelings, you're not crazy. That's what the healthcare system is for. They do suggest, like if you've been trying over a year, you can go to a fertility specialist and get tested. So, you know, if you feel like something's not right, go and do it. You're not crazy. They set those standards for a reason. Now, if you're trying to, if it's after 2 months, sis, you've been trying and you might be looked at real crazy if you try to get an appointment. I actually don't think they'll allow you to do it. But again, if you've been trying over a year, you can talk to a specialist. So, quick plug there. So, like, again, like I sort of touched on this already, but it's like, so like at this point at the beginning of 2020, I've taken so many pregnancy tests, I've done so many ovulation kits. Like, I'm at the point where I'm just like tired again, wanting to know what I'm up against. So I talked to Michael about it, and I honestly, and this could not be true, but honestly felt like he also thought like I was just being extra, but he's also like, yeah, we can do it. If you want to do it, you know, we can do it. Like, he wasn't opposed to getting further testing. And so I talked to my primary care physician about it. And so she ordered blood work first. If I can find the screenshot of my blood work results, I will put them on the screen, whichever side. But basically, I don't know the science behind it, but they test your hormone levels to test the hormone that signals ovulation. And mine was like A++. So, okay, since that was the first step, like, okay, you're ovulating, and you're saying that it's been way more than a year that you guys been trying and you haven't been pregnant. Okay, let's test your husband's semen or sperm, which is called an SA, sperm analysis. We're just gonna say SA for the sake of this video, so we don't have to keep saying the other word. And then once we get those results, if those are good, then sis, you go into the fertility specialist. So that's what we did. And you know, then I told Michael, which, I mean, I don't know who else feels like this out there, but I was a little nervous to ask Michael for him to take the sperm analysis. Like, I mean, SA. I've got to stop saying that. SA is so much easier. I was a little nervous to ask Michael about taking the SA. I honestly like got advice about my mom about like how to bring it up, just because I feel like it's a sensitive topic for men. And you know, I know Michael, and I knew that he wouldn't freak out or anything, but at the same time I was just like trying to be considerate of like how to bring it up, and we've never talked about that before, so I just didn't know what to expect. And so I just brought it up like, hey, my blood work is good to go. So the doctor said that it's best for you to take your SA, which I'm sure you're fine, but we're gonna take your SA, and then once your SA results come back, they're gonna send me to a specialist. So I kept it to the facts, and he was fine. Like, I just sort of freaked out about that for nothing. And so it did take him a while to actually take the SA, because we were in the midst of moving to Texas, and TRICARE's a mess. Like, it's really not a mess. I appreciate having TRICARE. I appreciate that, because, you know, we don't really have to pay out-of-pocket fees for pretty much anything unless you get something super specialized. But their process of you seeing a specialist or getting extra testing for something is so hard. It's not as simple as you would think, because probably a lot of you that are watching my videos are just normal civilians. Like, you don't have TRICARE as insurance, but like, I've had civilian insurance, and it's just way different. Like, you just go to the doctor, and you just give them your Blue Shield card or whatever. Like, you don't have to get referrals. So he had to get referrals set up to take that test, which took a long time. And because of COVID, their communication was messed up. Like, for his doctor's office, like, you can't talk to someone directly. Like, you have to leave a message, and you have to wait for them to get back to you. Like, it was just crazy. So I don't think he took his SA until the end of August. Like, and you know me, I was like, did you call them back? Did you call them back? Did you call them back? Like, I was being a bugaboo, like, because I just wanted to know. Like, it just took everything took so long. And my friends could attest to this, like the friends that I just talked to about all of this, they know, like, I was a mess. But, you know, he got his SA, and then we got the results, which his results were average, normal, like, you know, where you should be. It wasn't like, you know, you're off the charts this way in the positive direction, or you're off the charts in the negative direction. He was just like the average male, count, mobility, everything like that. So I was like, honestly, because before then I was like, man, what if something's wrong with his SA? Like, what are we gonna do? Like, we even talked about, like, oh my, like, what if, like, how are we gonna prepare ourselves if there's an instance where we're just completely infertile? And then we were just like, we're just not gonna think about it. We're gonna pray that that's not in the cards for us. We're putting out that we are gonna have our own children. So all that freak out over, his results came out normal, which I was like, whoo, honestly, I'd rather something be wrong with me than him, because I feel like that's harder. But still, at the same time, I was like, wow, something is wrong with me. Like, something's wrong with me. And so, next solution, I was solution based. So I was like, okay, next, we got to set up an appointment with the fertility specialist. So this was the hard part, and I'm gonna put my suggestions at the end of this video of like what I would suggest to somebody starting this journey to use, like what I've learned, like what my takeaways are. So stay to the end for that, because I do have a lot of like experiences that I wish somebody had told me to prepare myself for, that I didn't know about, like a lot of learning experiences. So definitely stay to the end of the video so you get those suggestions. But I ended up having to figure out like how to actually schedule fertility services with TRYcare. And so what I found out was that I don't know if it's just TRYcare, or the only way I could get those fertility services was with a reproductive endocrinologist. And so I searched on the website to find the nearest one. The nearest one that accepted TRYcare is 45 minutes away. So I was like, dang, like I so wish it was close by, because I know that like I'm probably gonna have to go in and out for testing. But I mean, it was what it was. So I set up the referral, which took forever, and it's because of COVID. I honestly think like people were out of the office, people were working from home. They messed up my referral at first for the fertility specialist. Like I don't know, they put it in for the wrong thing, the wrong person, they called the wrong office. Like it was just a mess. But so it took so long to actually get into the fertility specialist. So he took his SA in August, and then I didn't have an appointment with the fertility specialist until early November. So that span of time was a lot, to say the least. But we got in. So the first test that I did was on November 9th. Oh, sorry, no. My first appointment that I did was November 6th of 2020. And they had me come in the second, like you had to, so basically you have to call them once your cycle starts. And then they tell you, okay, you need to come in between the second and the fourth day of your cycle. Which I was like, ooh, that's a little weird, because they have to do the sonogram and everything. So that was interesting. But so my first appointment was November 6th. So they did a sonogram to test my follicles, my uterus, like the shape of it. Because sometimes people have tilted uteruses, but I don't. And then they tested the uterine lining, they measured it. And then after that they took blood work, like 6 vials. It was crazy. And then a urine test. Actually, before the sonogram they took a urine test, and I'm thinking that was probably just a pregnancy test that they just do before they do a sonogram, because it was the internal one, obviously not the external, but they took an internal ultrasound. Okay, So, you know, if you are on your journey to, like, if you haven't started this stuff yet, your fertility specialist, like, expect that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna do that internal exam, blood work, and urine analysis. But it was so cool. I love Dr. Mansfield. She's so bubbly and happy, and that's important too, I feel, to make sure that the doctor that you get is very positive, because it is sort of a weird, stressful, sometimes not stressful, but I guess anxious ridden kind of situation. So you want to have somebody that's at least seems supportive, because you never really know people, but you know, that gives off those good vibes. And then after my first appointment, they had Michael come in for some more blood work. So that's what they told me. They told me that he needed to just come in for blood work, and then I'll have my next appointment, and then we're gonna do a follow-up telemedicine appointment with Dr. Mansfield. And so he went, right, and I thought everything was fine. Like, I mean, honestly, like, I thought his referral was under mine. Like, I didn't know he needed to get another referral, for one. And then second, he called me Lauren Ashley Whitted. I was like, oh no. He said my middle name. My mom does that, not my husband. Like, what's going on? And he was like, you did not tell me they had to do another SA. I was like, what? They didn't even say that. Like, they did not say that. So I don't know if that clinic is just unorganized. Like, because we've had a lot of miscommunication situations like that with this clinic. So I don't know if they need to fix their processes or what. But I did not know that. But he said they... they brought him in, basically. He thought they were just doing blood work, because mind you, I already told my doctor that he already had an SA. I gave her the paperwork for it and everything. So she said he won't have to do it until after my testing and we do treatments, and then if I'm still not pregnant, then they'll test him again. Like, that's what she said, but I guess that's not what they did. Anyways, he got there, he did his blood test, and then they were like, this is for your urine and this is for your SA. And he was like, wait, what? And she's like, yeah, your SA. And then so he was so mad. Like, I don't know if you guys know Michael, he just needs to be mentally prepared for everything in life. Like, that's just him. And so he was just so thrown off guard, and it was so funny to like listen to him describe the room that they had. Like, this, I don't think guys will watch this, but guys, like, they had that. Maybe if you guys want to know what clinic I went to, let me know. But they had that room set up, like the chair was like a plush like couch chair, and it had like a sanitary paper on it, and they had like a TV in there. It was souped up. So I mean, that was that. So he ended up having to take another SA, which, I mean, it was sort of weird and we were thrown off guard, but I mean, it was what it was. He took another SA, and then I had my second appointment on November 9th, which was the HSG test. So let's get into that. The dreaded HSG test. And I say dreaded because I dreaded it. It ended up not being bad. So if you're here and you haven't taken your HSG test, you're gonna be okay. So let me just look up and like tell you guys like the definition of it. Alright, and also if I mispronounce anything, y'all, just like don't even judge me, like I'm trying. So HSG, hysterosalpinography. I tried, but other known as HSG is an X-ray test to outline the internal shape of the uterus and show whether the fallopian tubes are blocked. In HSG, a thin tube is threaded through the vagina and cervix. A substance known as contrast material is injected in the uterus. Basically, the tube that they put in, it's described as a catheter. So what they do is numb your cervix, put the catheter through your cervix, and I don't know if they put it all the way through your uterus or just like in the direction that they need it to go in, or if they go put the tube all the way through your tubes. Like, I don't know how far they go. Obviously that's really technological, I don't really know that part, but ow. And then like when I got to the clinic, I might put the footage here too. I don't think I talked in that footage though. I just was like showing you guys me in the lobby. I was a little nervous. I was too nervous to talk, to be honest, so that's that on that. But I texted my friend and she talked me off the ledge, because after you know, when you do certain procedures, you gotta sign off the dotted line like, sis, this is what's going to happen, like these are the side effects that could happen. And those side effects, I was like,
Jesus. Nope.
woo. And the way they explained it, I don't know, it was just like something about it that freaked me more out. Like, and I had watched YouTube videos and people were saying like they are cramping really bad, and so I don't know, like everything that I heard just like made me really anxious before. So I went in, and I'll show you the footage of the room. Like those stirrups, this was really high. TMI, but I was like, dang, like these stirrups they weren't like when you get a pap smear. Those are low. Like your legs were high. You know what I'm saying? Like everything was gonna be out there. Everything. Okay. And so I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to really put my legs all the way up there. Like, ow. And so they told me to, you know, did I undress waist down or my whole clothes? I think I just undressed waist down. And so I was just like laying there. I didn't lay there with my feet in the stirrups, obviously that would have been weird, but I didn't do that. But I was just like laying there like. And so Dr. Mansfield came in with her little you know, what's the apron that they put on to like take out the x-ray, like to take out the radiation, I can't talk. Yeah, she had that all up here, and I was like, do I need that too? Like, why don't I have one in my head? Like, that was like the things that are going up, like, can I get one? But I mean, I guess it didn't affect me like it did them. I don't know. But anyways, she looked at me, she was like, are you okay? And I was like, honestly, I am really nervous right now. And she was like, I can tell you are nervous, but it's gonna be okay. I promise you, it's like less than 5 minutes. Like, it's really gonna go by fast. And I was thinking, yeah, right, that's what they all say, like, it's not gonna go by fast. And so I was like, remembering when my friend told me, just any pain you get, just breathe through it, don't clench, just breathe through it. And I was like in that headspace, like, breathe through it. And so I had my legs up on the stirrup. And then, so it was just like a pap smear, like how they put the speculum in there a lot. And so she had to put the speculum in there to put the catheter in. But before then, I didn't know that they numbed your cervix until she said, I'm numbing your cervix now. And I was like, in my head, I was like, thank God. Because I was like wondering, like, how am I not gonna feel this? Like, this is gonna hurt. So they do numb your cervix. And then she's gonna say, okay, now I'm shooting up to die. And I literally said, wait. I was like, wait. The catheter's already in there. She was laughing. She was like, yeah, it's already in there. I told you it's gonna be 2 seconds. I was like, wow. So when she started pushing the dye through, or the contrast material, I felt the pressure. Like, it just felt like cramps. But I mean, I have pretty bad cramps. Well, not pretty bad. Like, the first 1 to 2 days of cramps is like, ooh, I need to take medicine and then I'm fine. But it was not like that. It was just, it was like little cramps. Like, it wasn't it was uncomfortable, but I could breathe through it. Like my friend told me to breathe through it, like I could breathe through it. And I felt that she was doing it a lot on one side, and in my head I was just like, she said she was gonna almost be done, like there must be something wrong. And I didn't say that out loud, like I was just like, but that was like my inner monologue. And so she was like, okay, all done. And so she took everything out, and she showed, so I was still laying there, and she showed me the pictures, and I put one of the pictures, I forgot to take the picture of the right side, but I took a picture of the left side. My tubes is what I'm saying. So in the picture, you can see the triangle thing is my uterus. That's the shape of my uterus. And the little squiggly thing, that is my left tube. And that's the fluid going through it. And it's really, really small. The tubes are really, really fine. But, so that's why it looks like you can see the tube like coming out of the triangle. But it's supposed to just spew the ink out. So it's supposed to like just look like a line, and then like a line, like just like a fluid like dissolving outwards. But as you can see, like it's all squiggly. So that means like it was trying to come out, but it's like not, there's a blockage. But somehow she would have been able to see if there was inflammation. I'm not a doctor, I don't know how to see that. But she said there was no inflammation. So that's good, because if there was inflammation, that would mean like endometriosis is maybe the cause of it or something like that. But she doesn't see that, and I don't have any other symptoms of endometriosis, so I'm good there. But she's going to compile all the data she's collected so far and follow up with us in a telemedicine video. So like, I surprisingly, when she was telling me, I was like, okay. Because I think just at this point, I was just like, I just need to do the solutions. Like, I prep myself like that, not to say like I put something in the air, like it's just facts. Like there had to have been something going on. Like to me, it was a fact thing. And I was preparing myself for her to tell me like, honestly the worst thing, but so I was like more so happy that, hey, my left side's doing a crip walk, but my right side is good. And I know people that have gotten pregnant with one tube, and my eggs are cracking. Well, not literally, but my eggs are abundant, and I have no issues with ovulation. So I already, from all my research I've done, like I already knew when she told me that. I was like, yeah, like I got so many solutions without her even following up with me. Like I already knew, because I'm a crazy person and I Google everything and I YouTube everything about my body. So let's just fast forward to my next meeting with Dr. Mansfield and my hubby. So before we started all the testing, we had a video consultation with her to explain everything. And now after all of the testing, we're following up with her what her findings were. And so the results, like what she told me is what I expected after having that HSG test, was basically I have unexplained infertility due to the tube blockage. There's no inflammation, which is good, and the right tube is perfectly fine, and my egg reserve is abundant. No hormone issues, and my thyroid, I have hypothyroidism, by the way, you guys, so I'll link my video below above where I'm talking about it in a different video. But my thyroid levels are still fine. Like they've been fine for a while. So as long as your thyroid levels are good, you won't have any effects for pregnancy. So she also tested that just to make sure that wasn't a factor, that like if my thyroid was crazy, but it wasn't. So Mike's second essay actually came out different from the first one. The first one was completely normal. So what's weird is his sperm count was higher in this one, but the mobility of the sperm, which is the sperm quality of them, I think it was a little lower. And it was like slightly lower from average. And so she says your essay results vary. It depends on, you know, what you're doing. Like it just depends, like your body just for men just varies. And so she thought that it was great that we actually ended up doing a second one, because you just sort of see over time, like you get to compare like what's the real issue here. And she does think that her office does more in-depth analysis of the actual sperm versus going to like a lab that does assays, blood, like, you know, sure, she said her clinic actually like puts these sperms under a microscope, analyzes how they move, everything. So just a quick ad there, just so you guys know, sperm quality is not just like having a good sperm count is great, but also if you have a lot and then half of them are not viable, like that still affects your abilities there. And so just, I mean, keep in mind that, you know, that could be a factor to your infertility, is like the male factor. So it's not just a female factor. You have to always analyze the male factor and rule that out. And so with both of these factors, she believes that with the mixture of my left tube being completely blocked and Michael's variance in his assay, that is the reason why we haven't gotten pregnant yet. And so her treatment suggestions were Clomid, which I'm gonna actually look up like what Clomid actually is. Like technically